here we go. Let me start with explaining why I'm making a new journal, because some of you might know already that I have 3 journals that are in my little collection as we speak. I have my travel journal, which I use when I travel to collect all napkins that are in any cafe that I visit. I have my bullet journal, which is mostly a planner, kind of like my assistant, who I don't really pay but does all my work for me, which is lovely. And then I have my longhand journal, which is very in my feelings. It's where I get vulnerable. So we have those 3 journals, but I said no. We can do a 4th. I didn't really know what a 5-year journal was until about a month ago, so let me break it down for you. A 5-year journal records what happens every day for 5 years in a row. And you're thinking, how the heck can you do this with one notebook? And here's how it happens. Instead of having one page where you write what happens each day for that 1 year, you take that page and you split it into 5 sections. So you're writing on that page for that day 5 times in a row. So you have 1 section for each year. The good thing about this, especially for me, who's kind of lazy when it comes to journaling, is I don't have to write that much because you only get 1/5 of the page to write. So you're really only writing 1 or 2 sentences. So I have my journal. It looks like this. I got it on sale. Thank you, Indigo. The notebook is a dot grid. So it has all these little dots and it has 2 ribbon bookmarks, a purple one. It's like a smoky violet. Reminds me very much of the Blackberry I used to own in smoky violet. I also have a back pocket, which is nice. It comes with this like instruction manual. I think I've gotten to the point where I'm familiar enough with notebooks that I don't need to read instructions. I am also going to use a pen so I can draw out the lines that divide this into 5 sections every day. Now, if you know me, you know that I love my Muji 0.5 gel pen, but the thing is with the Moleskine pages is they bleed like nobody's business. I thought we could kind of try to work with that and set ourselves up for success by using a felt tip pen. This is going to be great because there won't be any transferring on the pages, and then I won't have to wait 5 minutes for each page to dry, which would not be ideal since I'm having to make 366 of these pages. And I think I'll just go ahead and start the journal. That makes sense, right? So the math took a little longer than I thought it would, but here is what I came up with for these sections. So each page needs to have room for 5 sections for each year, which are all the same size, hopefully, and a section at the top for the day. So what I did was I counted 6 boxes for each day, and then on the box below that, that's where I drew the line to mark the section for the next year. So technically, I guess each year was 7 boxes long. First one having a line across the first 4 squares, which is where I'm going to write the year. So 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024. So this is going to take me a lot longer than what you're going to see because it will be sped up and edited. But now I'm going to have to go in and repeat this for 365 days. Over me is here to confirm that it did take 3 hours to do this journal. I did also want to mention here that I did make a page in this journal for February 29th, which is a leap year. Even though leap year only happens every 4 years, I couldn't think of another way to make it work properly, so I just kind of made a page for it, and that will just not get fully filled out, but that's okay. The Moleskine was actually really helpful in speeding up this process of making the journal. Because the pages do have ghosting, I was able to see the lines on the opposite page and use that as a bit of a tracing guide, which was really nice and really sped up the process. And here is the finished journal. Even though it took a little longer than anticipated, we have accomplished the mission of making this 5-year journal. Let's take a look inside and I can give you a little tour of how it's looking now that it's complete. So on my journal, I just clipped a pen on the top of it. I have the elastic around the pen just so it's more secure. This is also helpful because then when I go to write in this journal, I'm not searching for a pen and then not being able to find one and then not writing in my journal because of that. I am a big proponent for setting yourself up for success in every way possible, so that's what I like to do. The first thing I added here was a quick little cover page so I could write down the year I started this journal and the year I finished it. This was how the page layouts turned out. I was really thankful I did this simple layout because even with something really easy like this, it still took me 3 hours, so I couldn't imagine if I was drawing full-length lines across the page and doing lettering. I don't think I would have actually finished making this notebook if I'd done that. Just a quick little tip to you guys from someone who's done it. If you're wanting to recreate this journal and make it yourself, keep the pages simple because even with a simple page, it will take a little bit of time and you want to actually finish making the journal. That is just some words of wisdom that I'm passing on to you from someone who's spent a long time making this. All of the pages look like this. I really love how simple they look. They're really clean and easy. I have right now my page marker on yesterday, but I guess I'll flip this because I need to fill in today's entry. And then I do have entries going all the way until about here. So I have a couple pages in the back for whatever I want to do with them. I'm thinking I'll save these for adding pictures throughout the years and little memorabilia here and there, but I think I'll be pretty conservative with this since I don't have too many pages. I also want to make a bit of an excerpt here about how your writing and what you actually write in your journal doesn't need to be anything incredibly extraordinary or amazing. A lot of people talk to me about how they want a journal, but they just don't know what to write, or they're very intimidated with writing something on the page because they don't think what they're going to say is good enough. So I'm here to encourage you that it is definitely good enough. Not every day is going to have a crazy story or some amazing, exciting event, but that's okay. And maybe to help convince you a little bit more that most people's journal entries aren't incredible and insane every single day, I thought I would read you a couple of mine. On June 10th, which is as of right now yesterday, I wrote, Cassie, who's my dog, and I had a little run around the backyard while playing with the stick, which she later ate. So that's what I wrote on June 10th. On June 9th, I wrote, went on a long evening walk, followed by a glass of the chocolatiest milk, the chocolatiest, not a word, milk from Harmony Farms. Today, I was very productive, but spent a lot of time on my screen. Let's go to an earlier date and do a couple more. Here's one. Typical day, did have some work and got all my due dates organized in my bullet journal. And then for those of you who are still thinking those are maybe a bit miraculous or impressive, on January 4th of 2020, all I wrote was Baby Yoda with a heart. So the lesson here is, if you don't know what to write in your journal, I would recommend just writing Baby Yoda with a heart, and you get the go-ahead from me to do that. So now I want to just have a little chat with you guys about how I'm going to be using this notebook every day and my plan to integrate it into my daily routines. I find such a good way to set yourself success for actually doing something every day is creating a plan or an intention for how you're going to actually use it and when you're going to actually use it. If I don't set a time for myself to do something, it's never going to happen. Because this journal is really important to me and I really want to fill it out every day, I decided to create a time when I was going to actually sit down and use it. So because I like to do my longhand journaling in the morning, I didn't really want to write in this one at the same time because I felt like that would be a bit of overkill. So my current plan is to sit down with this notebook right before I go to bed and write a couple sentences about what happened that day. I think this will work out well since at the end of the day, I'll know what's happened during the day so I can kind of collect my thoughts before I go to bed and make sure I get all those details that I want to get in my journal. Now, I'm very much the kind of person that if I don't see something, I will not remember it. So I will be keeping this notebook on the top of my nightstand so I can see it every single night before I crawl into bed and fall asleep for 8 hours. So I'm hoping that this plan will help me stay consistent with using this journal, and more importantly than that, I hope it's something I enjoy doing, and I hope that it's a really meaningful exercise for me. A week after using this journal, I've been really enjoying how this has incorporated into my daily routine. It's been really easy since it only takes about 1 to 2 minutes to journal. It's not a giant chunk of time that's taking away from something else in my day. And I found that it's a really nice way to end off your day and just kind of close the chapter on what happened that day and go to bed being ready for the next day to happen. For someone who didn't find out about this journal until a month ago, I am so glad that I came across it because I think it is such a easy, accessible way for anyone to journal if they want to, because it's so quick, low time commitment, and gives you a really nice thing to look back on because you can see 5 years at a time. I know that 5 years of journaling sounds really daunting, but once you start and you realize that you're only writing 1 to 2 sentences a day, it really lowers that pressure and makes it seem a lot more achievable. Now, if you already have a 5-year journal, let me know below and we can chat about that and how you've been liking it. Are you on year 1, year 2, year 5? That would be really cool to hear from you. And that is all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys really enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.